All right, I know this is a little bit maybe off angle, but it's kind of the best angle that I could get that would show what's happening. So the first thing you're going to want to do is trade out your sewing machine feet. So I had just the regular foot in here, but not only the foot, but also the mechanism that holds the foot to the shaft. So that's where the foot connects to. And for my machine, I have to remove the whole unit. So the foot and the shaft. And then what I'm going to replace it with is the walking foot. Now, what is different about the walking foot is that it has this plastic unit. Some of them are metal and some of them are plastic. And it is, it's got little grippies on it, if you can hear my fingernail catch on that. So what that does is automatically your machine has feed dogs. And these feed dogs have a grip on them. And as they move, they grab your fabric and pull it up under the needle. What happens with the regular foot is that it's smooth and the fabric is just gliding in there, which is great for when you're just piecing regular fabrics. But when you have thickness or you're going to be quilting, you will want to use a walking foot. What it has is these feet move and shift just like the feed dogs underneath, and it pulls the top fabric the same way it pulls the bottom fabric. So it's feeding both of those fabrics in continuously, and you won't end up having weird puckers and other issues like that. So I'm going to attach my walking foot, and then I'll get started on showing you how you use your machine for machine quilting in straight lines. So let's see, I have to move this bolt out just a little bit more so this upper part fits on the shaft properly. And then, you know, I can hand tighten it for a good amount, but really I need my little screwdriver here to put in, tighten it up. Okay, so make sure that that is good and tight. And I'm going to show you really quick what this looks like on my sewing machine. So as you can see, it's all connected, you know, that's tightened down onto the shaft, and it is plastic. This isn't the best foot. I know there's other feet out there, but this is the one that I use for my brother machine, and it works great. So that is what it looks like when it's all connected to your machine properly. All right, so now we're ready to begin. So I've got my quilt sandwich, and that just means I have my back fabric and my batting and my top fabric layered. The fabric on the top I'm using is just a cute little print, and it's just got cute squares all over, and so it makes it super simple to decide to go from corner to corner and just follow the lines. Follow the layout of the pattern on the quilt top. So it's almost like a cheater. It's like a cheater quilt top, because I didn't do any of the piecing, but it looks like maybe I did. I could have chosen to quilt in a straight line, and maybe that would have looked a little bit more like I had pieced it, but I chose to go on the diagonal. So what you will be doing is just like sewing any kind of fabric that you've got going. You want to adjust your needle if you think you do need to, which I do because my needle is way over on the left side. So I'm going to adjust it so it is centered. And I can check that with my needle down, just pulling that down a little bit. And then because I have quite a few layers, I'm going to make my stitch just a little bit longer. I'm going to test it at a 3/0 stitch and see what happens there. So I'm going to just begin stitching. And it's a little noisier because that mechanism is pulling the top as well as the bottom. So I'll go slow and you can kind of see. Okay, I've got it zoomed in and I'm going to go a little bit slow so you can watch these feet. The plastic area is going to be moving forward just a little bit with each stitch. So it pushes down and holds the fabric and then releases and moves up. So it's kind of doing what the feed dogs underneath are doing. It's feeding that fabric in equally so you won't end up with puckers. Because a lot of times when you are stitching the same direction or quilting the top and the bottom, your machine is going to pull one side more than the other and it causes problems. So I'm just going to pivot and that with the needle down because I can continue on going in a different direction on the straight line again. And I'll just go slow so you can kind of see that feet move. I don't have to guide or push the fabric at all. It really just pulls it in very nicely. I do have to guide it just a little bit, but you want to make sure that the quilt is not heavy. Heavy on the machine, because then if it is, that weight can pull the fabric, stretch it out a little bit, and then cause you problems later on. So I'm going to readjust my hands a little bit so I can loosen this up and then just continue. Because my squares are so close to each other, I really don't have to do any kind of marking with this, which is kind of nice. Looks like I've had this fabric folded up too much. I started this project and didn't finish it, so there's a little bit of wrinkles in here. I'm just going to continue quilting it all the way down. The walking foot is perfect for straight line stitching. Because it does pull that fabric at the top and the feed dogs at the bottom, it's not made to do meander or anything, but straight line, grid work, any kind of quilting designs, the walking foot is perfect for that. And really, anytime you're having problems with your fabric starting to pucker or the thickness is giving you issues, and you need a little more control over how the fabric is feeding through your machine, the walking foot is perfect for that as well. I'm going to move some of that. It's getting a lot of bulk in the back. And then I come to the end and I'm going to leave my needle down, lift my presser foot, just pivot the fabric a little bit, put it back down, and continue on. So I'm going to snip my thread, and I used a red thread underneath and a white thread on the top because my back is red. And so you can see how the quilting is straight, the stitches are even, there's no puckers or gathers in the fabric, it's all been, pushed in through the machine properly. And then on the back side as well, it's not super easy to see, but you can see that I don't have any puckers on the back and either. When doing quilt sandwiches, you can use lots of pins, you can use fusible spray, and I believe that's what I did, is I used the fusible spray to make my backing and my batting and my quilt top sticky, and that works really well. So that is how you use your regular sewing machine for straight line quilting.